Good evening, gamers. Have I got a showcase for you? We've been branching out and we are going from Jack and Daxter straight into Splatoon 3. And this is the match to see. This is Haitex versus LonTr0. This is world record holder against second place. The excitement in the booth is palpable. And your commentators for today will be Hydrus and Alpha Omega. I'm going to pass it on to them and I hope you all enjoy the match. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Charles. Yeah, again, my name's Hydrus, and today I have my co-commentator, Alpha Omega. This is a super cool match that we're going to have. We're very grateful to have Splatoon 3 on the showcase today. It's one of the most, open-ended in the series, and there's so much to explain. I can't even begin to explain.
Yeah, it's so open-ended, and there's a lot more glitches and exploits that you will see compared to previous games, such as Splatoon 1, Octo Expansion, Hero Mode. We don't like Hero Mode here.
Okay, it seems like we're going to be starting pretty soon. I believe our runners are starting from different places in the menu here. Pretty much, if you don't load in from the plaza, in general, you will get a faster load into the single player. Time starts when when it fades to black when you enter the single player. It's been a little bit of a tinfoil hat conspiracy theory around the community, which is faster. I concluded that loading in from the Shawl or the LAN mode area is faster, but Ian definitely swears by it. I don't know if, airplane mode has something to do with it, but
no, it's not just that I'm an airplane, but yeah, you're also wrong. It's definitely a quit menu. Where my gold is.
I don't know about that one, but I'll take it.
Oh my!
I don't know about that one, man.
Get a 215 gold. Come on, come back to me.
But yeah, I am seeing the development of this game has been so crazy. Oh, I just forgot what I was gonna say. Oh yeah, I remembered. I think what's also cool is that Splatoon is definitely a series where we've had like skips, right? But we haven't had, maybe a lot of glitches per se or out of bounds skips. You're going to be seeing at least one out of bounds skip, maybe a couple in this run. It's in the latter half of the run, but it's another reason why I love this game, love this community, and love this category.
Totally. This category is way different than anything else we have in the entire series, the very linear but very tricky Octo Expansion to going just basically completely freeform and entirely broken Splatoon 3 any percent.
Yes, and I don't know if it was specifically stated, I don't know if it says in the layout, but we are doing an any percent race on the current patch of the game, which is basically any percent version 2.0.0 plus, which patched a major trick called menu storage. It essentially let you, if you set it up, it let you skip the first half of the final boss, which saved about 3 minutes minus some time loss from setting it up and not being able to do a quit out. So yeah, it has been gained sub hour. It's made the world record increase by about 3 minutes, but this is still a really cool run, even with menu storage, or without menu storage, excuse me. And it seems like we're going to be getting started really soon here. And all right, and it seems we are ready. Yeah, so unfortunately, there is some parts of this run where there's going to be kind of dialogue sequences where the runners are just rhythmically mashing through text boxes, so we can kind of give some exposition about maybe the category or what's to come. Alpha, what would you say about Crater in terms of like sequence breaks? Would you say it's like maybe a forced tutorial, perhaps?
Yeah, I would definitely say Crater is very much like a tutorial for
Yes.
outside of the actual tutorial, which we don't do in this run. But we do have, I think, one, like, we have like 2 sequence breaks, I think, sort of. We have the cuttlefish tech skip right here at the very beginning, which we'll see the runners do and hopefully make. It's not that hard. And then we have the checkpoint skip in Crater level 2. I guess I can call it level skip. It's checkpoint skip, whatever. We're gonna see the runners jump off the edge and do a splashdown in order to hit a checkpoint that Nintendo made way too big.
Yeah, well, there is a lot of, possibly in-level skips. There's no sequence breaks. You can't go from Crater-1 or C-1 to
True.
the boss
the
here.
boss.
Yeah, it's literally programmed, so even if you could get to the end, the boss of this area does not activate. And yeah, we kind of did a trick there called Cuttlefish Dialogue Skip, where basically if you go along the side of that, what is it, like a rail? If you don't touch the left, yeah, you don't activate the cutscene, and you save about 5 seconds. Cool little trick. I think that was discovered by Sam, a SpongeBob runner, I believe. I don't remember exactly.
It was very early on in the game that we found that.
Yes. So many tricks were discovered. Anyway, yeah, this level, not a lot to say. It's very linear.
I was about to say it's very straightforward. Like it's about as straightforward as they come.
Yeah, I would say the shotless variant of this is actually a lot more interesting. Usually,
totally.
Yeah, people usually get times around like 30 seconds to 20. Let's see what our runners get. Ooh, both 29 seconds. The IL record is about 28. You need some pretty insane shot RNG to get that. But yeah, pretty solid times from both of the runners. Something you'll also notice, kind of with overall movement and Splatoon movement in general, is something called shot variance. Maybe Alpha could explain that a little bit.
Yeah, shot variance basically, each time that you essentially pull the trigger on your gun, we see it with the level 3 shot, you have 2 exterior bands of ink that are basically in a spiral, at least in Splatoon 3. So depending on where that spiral is, when you're firing can cause some variance in where you actually end up hitting and can cause some issues.
Yeah, so kind of deviating from that point a bit, this is a trick that was actually discovered by Owen and let us do a big skip in this stage. And basically, if you've been paying attention, you can build up a splashdown on the top right here, which is special from the old Splatoon game, Splatoon 2. If you do a splashdown and time your jump just right, you can kind of hit that checkpoint trigger right above and skip all the way to the end of this section. I don't remember how much time it saves RTA, but it's quite a bit.
I think RTA, it's probably like, I want to say it's about 10 seconds. I could very well be wrong on that.
Yeah, IGT is a lot more. Pretty solid times from both runners.
But I think IRL world record's 23, I want to say.
Yeah, the quick ending saves about 2 seconds there, little wall snap there or whatever it is. But yes, really cool strat. C3 is where stuff starts to get kind of broken. Funny story about the next trick that's coming up. You've ever heard of the YouTuber GameChamp 3000? She made a video, how many shots does it take to complete Splatoon 3? And one of her viewers found this trick. It's a small fry clip, and she actually put it in the video, and she said, oh, you might be able to do this, might be faster. This is very hard to explain. You're actually getting it first there, I believe.
Yeah.
But basically, if you throw the small fry at a specific angle into that vault, you can skip...
Actually, both small vaults, I think it is.
Yeah, you can skip picking up the key. It skips a couple of keys, and it's a huge sequence break for this level. Both runners also opting to do the double clip route, which is also way harder.
And the other thing... The other major thing after this is our first quit out of the run. In very specific scenarios, it is faster to quit out of the game and reload into the single player than it is to go through certain cutscenes.
Yeah, once the game autosaves, gives you a better overall position and skips some ending dialogue, like Alpha said. Saves about 2 seconds if done well. The menuing's good.
At least on the C3 exit, I think the biggest one is coming up after the boss fight of this world.
Yeah, and something else this part of the game, Crater, as it's called, kind of teaches you is that you basically need power eggs to unlock ooze to progress. It's kind of reminiscent of like Odyssey's design, where you can kind of get whatever moons you want, and go wherever in the world that you want. And this leads to some pretty insane routing choices once we actually get to the main overworld and out of this horse tutorial. So,
and I was gonna say the other main mechanic that we're gonna see demonstrated here, obviously aside from the movement, is Little Buddy.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
Little Buddy. Little Buddy allows us to basically kill enemies or get certain objectives without us actually having to grab them, and we see it there, allowing us to kill an enemy faster than it would be if we had to go around and actually kill them.
Yeah, this stage is so quick, it's hard to really capture everything the runners are doing, so we apologize in advance. We'll try to cover everything succinctly. But yeah, like Alpha says, Small Fry can basically be used as a way to de-aggro enemies, to deal damage to enemies, deal damage to objects while you're doing another action. Oh. No, Ian failed that insanely. I don't even know who's ahead. I think there was a small delay there in the stream.
I think they're about even right now between the small delay.
So what Ian tried to do there, or LonTr0, is you can basically hit that Octavio, the boss in this area. You can hit his fuzzy ooze midair of Small Fry, and it's a very tight window, and if you miss it, you die and you have to try again. It's faster because, you know, you don't have to stand on top of the rail to get that height. You can basically just throw it at the peak of your jump as you're falling off. And yeah, also in that level 4 stage, you kind of saw a squid surge that's actually not used a ton in this run. I'd say squid rolls are used way more. We can explain the movement mechanics a bit more later, because there's a lot going on in this boss fight. So yeah, this is the boss fight of this area. Funnily enough...
It's the final boss, right? It's totally the final boss of the video game.
Yeah, this is actually where the run ends. So, no.
We're on world record pace right now, so you know, world record solid 47 minutes.
Yeah, no, so that mechanic that you saw from Little 2, you're gonna be building up splashdown a lot in this fight, and generally it's faster to, you know, build a splashdown and use it to return a drill fist, because it has a bunch of iframes, I believe. And it's faster to return certain fists. It depends on the cycles.
It looks like both runners are very even going into the second phase of Octavio.
Yes, that's actually pretty crazy. I believe they also both use the same character customization, which determines several aspects of RNG. So, coming up, Inkback Skip. I don't remember who discovered this, but...
I forget exactly who, too.
Yeah, maybe you could explain this? I don't fully understand it. So.
Yeah, so... at the beginning of the second phase of Octavio, the boss that we're fighting, DJ Octavio, pulls out an ink vacuum, a multiplayer special that, again, we have to, you know, try and avoid because otherwise, you know, he sucks up our ink. We're not able to hit the fist back. But what we're supposed to do in order to block it is to get Little Buddy to basically clog the vacuum. But if you're able to hit back... It's hard to explain this.
Yes, I know. There's so much going on.
It's fairly hard to explain. Basically, Octavio doesn't actually bring out his ink vacuum until after he shot out his first fist. So we're able, and the ink vac is canceled when he gets a fist hit back at him, or more specifically, when it actually reaches his mech. So in that small frame of time between hitting the fist back and it actually hitting, we're able to throw Small Fry into the trigger that gets him sucked in, allowing us to skip an entire phase.
Yeah, it's
a few attacks.
Yeah, it's also good to have Small Fry in the ink vac because it removes those iframes from the fist. You can actually hit it. If you mistime it, the fist will come down, like, you can't hit the fist and you might waste a splashdown, so it's a very, very key strategy in this fight.
Haitex missed that slap fist.
Yeah, I kind of missed the seismic, I don't even know what to call that attack. I don't know my Splatoon lore. Oh no, I don't even know what happened.
Oh, he didn't... Little Buddy didn't have a splashdown.
Oh, that's terrible. Yeah, managing your splashdowns in this fight is super important. And I guess since you're paying attention to Haitex, LonTr0 did a trick that was discovered by Nimpok, and it's called Octavio Cutscene Skip. And basically what that is normally there's like a 40-second long cutscene after the autosave when you defeat Octavio. But if you save and quit, if you quit after the game autosaves and go back into the single player, you can go right to, when LonTr0 starts, which is where the
which is the main
world
world of the is the main world of the run. And this is also where we get the actual Nintendo Presents Splatoon 3. So now the game has officially started.
Yeah, Crater is just kind of
it's a tutorial.
Yeah, it just kind of exists. That's kind of how I would describe it.
Can't we?
So this is a super long introductory text sequence. These runners have arms of steel to do this consistently, reset after reset. So we could probably explain some things. Yeah.
You had mentioned. Yeah, you actually I was going to talk about customer
character
customization.
Is a huge part of that Octavio fight. I'll let you explain that.
Yeah, so essentially when we first booted into the game, or when we first started learning the game, we found that everyone was getting different patterns of where Octavio would jump after each 2 fists. And more specifically, we found that if he goes to the right side, specifically, we have 3 possible locations for him to go off of the start. We have left, center, and right. Right is the slowest because he starts much higher up, and that basically means that we have to wait longer for the fists. Somehow, and I'm not entirely sure how we figured this out, the direction in which Octavio goes after each set of fists is determined by the haircut that you give Little Buddy. We're not sure why Nintendo chose this, but we were able to figure it out, and it ends up affecting even more than just how Octavio moves.
Yeah, several aspects of RNG. I kind of find the choice of this level name ironic. Your only choice. It is literally the only level that you can play. Your only choice. There has been no known way to skip it. If someone could find a way to skip
there is a bounty out.
Yeah, even on older patches, there is a $100 bounty for that, but unfortunately, it's very hard to down patch without Switch Homebrew, so it's unfortunately not possible. So, yeah, I do know both runners go for key skip in this level, which you can also tell that because they go on the left, so yeah, key skip, like a lot of stuff in this game, was discovered by some random dude who barely runs the game to my knowledge. And it saves about 20 seconds. It's very difficult. It's like, I don't know if it's like World 4 skip levels difficult, but it's very precise.
It is a very precise trick. I don't think quite the most precise we have in this run. I think that goes to Owen skip.
It is also the first, like, definitely, like, somewhat of a level skip that involves, uses the squid roll, which I can let you explain the movement and maybe a key skip if you want.
Yeah, so at the beginning, when Nintendo announced Splatoon 3, they announced 2 new movement mechanics. The one that we're going to see here is Squid Roll. Essentially, by moving in a completely different direction, you're able to get a longer jump than you normally would. And that longer jump, if you're on the very edge of the platform that you see LonTr0 on, you're able to skip getting one of the keys, which is on the left side. Gets it second try. Is Haitex going to get it? Haitex gets it as first try, so now very close to one another.
Yeah, it kind of evens out. There's a lot of tricks like that in this run where you can mess up one aspect in this run, but then you can mess up another trick, and then your opponent can catch up and vice versa. You never really know what's going to happen. The run definitely always... I'd say it's difficult until the latter half of the final boss, in my opinion. Like, there's always something hard that you can massively choke, which is why I think this is such a interesting race category to watch. So what I kind of find interesting is that besides the boss levels that you need to play to access the endgame area, these are the only 2 levels that you play in the entirety of LonTr0. This is a 2-level 50% route, and this was,
also get ready to check LonTr0's time. Let's see if we have a totally not tied world record.
Tie world record? No!
World record?
No, don't do the pause me. That's
Okay.
patched.
Okay, LonTr0 got 2 seconds. Both of us
Thursday.
got 2 seconds. Before anyone asks, no, it's not actually tied world record. There's like at least 1.98 time. So, yeah, not world
the
record.
2-second Big Bang time thing is like quite an iconic meme in the community. So yeah, Big Bang kind of it's a level. You kind of just forget about it. Yeah, and we don't play any other levels besides the bosses. It's just all overworld movements.
Collection.
Yeah, because basically all you need to do to access the end of the game is eat power eggs and other stuff.
We should probably mention what the runners are doing right now.
Yes,
so
this isn't a squid roll skip, but that's the first big overworld skip.
Yeah. Oh,
it's so hard
Haitex.
to commentate this.
LonTr0?
Oh!
Got it. It's deep cutscene skip.
Okay,
all right. Do you want to take this one?
Yes, there's so much going on right now. Just like we said, guys, it's so much is happening in this run at once. It's very hard to describe everything. So basically, yeah, that first jump they did around that ooze, that was the first fuzzy ooze skip that was discovered by Master of Mike and I believe another person. Can't remember their name. And that skips like an 800 fuzzy ooze. And that left side variant of DCS or deep cutscene skip, if you basically have enough momentum going into the ooze as it unloads, you can basically despawn the cutscene trigger and skip a 1 minute long cutscene. You only have one try to nail it, and it's very difficult to practice. Like, it's pretty much impossible to practice on a complete file, because, you know...
No, you can't practice it on a complete file because
you can.
You get one attempt at it per save file. So if you miss it, you're going back all the way through Crater.
Yeah, you need NSO, like, cloud saves to practice that. So, yeah, now we're kind of getting into the meat of the routing.
So yeah, probably should explain why why both of our runners here are grabbing seemingly random things. The first item that we see them collecting are power ray canisters. This is the main way we actually get canisters throughout the run, which aside from boss fights, and they basically that allows us to skip more levels essentially. The other thing we see them collecting are what we call collectibles.
4 different types.
4 different types. We have records, decorations, sunken sea scrolls, and sardinium. The first 3, they add to our upgrade point totals. What we need upgrade points for are basically upgrading our... We only use it for upgrading our hero shot. But there's an entire upgrade tree that you can learn. LonTr0 hitting discount fries there. God, this is...
Yeah.
And sardinium is what we use to unlock certain upgrades, and upgrade points are what we use to unlock them. Do you want me to explain discount fries?
Yeah, definitely, sure.
So discount fries, we're able to do a very precise jump in order to skip a thing of 900 ooze. I forget who discovered it. I'm sorry about that.
Another random person.
Yeah, it was just another random person. But thank you very much. But yeah, it skips us having to get 900 extra eggs, and is another reason we were able to get this run down to 2 levels. And then we get to Fry.
Yeah, so this is kind of the first boss fight. Something I think Alpha forgot to mention was that we upgraded to the level 2 splatter shot with kind of that collectible overworld routing. Because I've ran no upgrades. I have the record on pre-patch, and level 1 Fry is awful. Or Fry with the level 1 splatter shot is awful.
It's awful.
Level 2 makes it a lot more consistent. Eating dang get RNG, maybe? That's okay.
Downpour's pretty good. Downpour's pretty good. That's the second best you can get.
Yeah, it's not bad.
But yes, we should explain Fry RNG. Essentially, so if you know how we described that Octavio is RNG, Haitex getting vision there, very good. If you don't understand how we explained Octavio, quote-unquote, RNG, Fry's has become immensely more complicated for the sheer reason that we think it is determined by the exact character customization that you choose at the very start of a save file.
Yeah,
and not only that, it is deterministic about whether or not you die before certain things in the run. So, like, if you happen to die doing discount fries, that changes what fry RNG you get. It is it is strange, but we love the game for it.
Yeah, having the upgrade splatter shot just makes movement overall faster. Painting is faster. The shot variance is more consistent, so you don't have to correct for it as much and make micro adjustments. But it also deals more damage, so you can deal more damage to enemies faster. You're gonna see the level 3 splatter shot saving a ton of time in the later, latter parts of this run.
But yeah, like what? I cannot say that for the life of me. Character
really creative
customization.
Really creative use of the splashdown there to get rid of the third phase of the attack there. Normally, like casual players, they might use the splashdown in the second phase, but you can actually use it in that third phase, and get rid of all of them in one fell swoop. It's why we save splashdown for that part of the boss fight. Now, the try quit out we're not going to be doing because I have timed it. It does save about 1 second, but most people don't do it because the menuing that you need to save time with it is ridiculously hard. And it also affects some aspects of RNG later on in the run. So if you don't do it, it's not really bad, per se.
And the other thing with the fry quit out is that if you saw before the level started, while they were basically unlocking the level itself with the ooze, they were shooting below them towards a reinforced box. That box holds
during the downtime.
During the downtime, they're getting a Sardinium, and if you quit out, that box will basically reseal, and then you have to respawn. Thank you.
Yeah.
But if we don't quit, then it's still there, unlocked, and we can just grab it.
Unfortunately, Fry Quit only really saves time and no upgrades. So yeah, we're ending Site 2, just picking up a couple of last collectibles. We're going to be getting to another overworld skips. Yeah, so we have the Site 1 overworld skip, we have DCS, discount fries, and now we have this. I believe
it's just 600 skip, I think it is.
Yeah, I don't think there's an official name, but yeah, this is another Squid Roll skip. I believe both runners do it a little bit differently. Ian tends to do it a little bit safer, to my knowledge.
I'm not sure if Haitex does the Squid Roll variant, but I know LonTr0 does.
Yeah, no, they both do it. It's just, I don't think... LonTr0, just like you saw there, LonTr0 paints the left side there, but Haitex doesn't. Haitex does that very risky.
I have not seen that, admittedly.
Yeah, really going for those micro adjustments.
Yeah, Site 3 is also the first world that we do absolutely no levels in, boss or regular otherwise. It is just this overworld routing that we've seen so far through the entire run.
Yeah, it's kind of like Site 5, where optimally it's about 1.5 minutes to 1.20 minutes, I believe, for the entire segment time.
Sounds about right.
And coming up, skips.
Yeah, so this is I think this is what, 700 skip part 2?
Kettle jump.
Kettle jump. Basically, we're able to unlock that kettle. Looks like LonTr0 got it there. After grabbing this Sardinium. And we're able to jump to it and completely skip that. Haitex getting it as well. And now we have Moxie skip.
Yeah,
Moxie. That looks like a Moxie. That might be a little short. I think it's good, though.
Yeah,
basically, this... Yep, that's good. Basically, the respawn point for this ending section is just wide enough that we can jump into it with a full speed, perfectly timed jump. Obviously, found by the namesake Moxie.
Yeah.
And then it was one of 3.
Moxie, but the speedrunner Moxie.
The speedrunner Moxie. And that was one of 3 discoveries, I think, found on the same day, and we're going to see another one of them later on.
Yeah, unfortunately, one of the only overworld skips to kind of function like that. If that happened, or if that would work for the ooze on the other side, that would kind of remove the ability of Stupid Skip ever being in the run. Checkpoint manipulation, or checkpoint respawn location manipulation. So, yeah, Site 4, a little bit of a new route here. Well, at least to me, basically instead of going kind of to the left here, you're going down and then around, taking kind of a different route. I think an aspect that we also didn't explain is that in Sight 2, and also you're going to see here, both runners are going for... they're going to throw Small Fry at the box to kind of let Small Fry do gradual damage to the box while they're doing other actions. They're basically kind of using that as, like, a form of continual DPS, you know, while they have downtime, doing other actions.
And then the other thing is that both runners are going to want to be at 18 upgrade points by here, because that's the number that we need to get to level 3 shot. And level 3 hero shot makes this upcoming boss fight way more bearable.
Yeah, it saves about 40 seconds over level 2, to my knowledge.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah, and it's a little bit faster to upgrade before you enter the Ink Rail, because you want to unlock that Shiver Kettle, which is the boss fight Shiver, as fast as possible. So great that to see our top runners going for those micro optimizations as always. And kind of a new strat here that got... I don't remember who discovered it, or...
I think it was LonTr0.
Yeah.
Well, the balloon.
Yeah, that Sight 4 red balloon essentially removes getting a really slow 100 power egg can in Sight 5, where you have to go down to a lower ledge and then super jump to a kettle above you. So it saves about 5 seconds roughly, and it's right on the way. It loses no time. It's a very easy form of time save.
So yes, coming up next is our next boss fight, Shiver. She has her very own shark that she rides. I've named it Blaha after the IKEA shark. Its actual name is Master Mega, but you know, we like the IKEA shark here in the Splatoon speedrunning community. I think you could agree with that, Hydrus.
For sure. Whatever that shark's name is our mascot. Or Blaha. I have the attention span or memory of a goldfish, as they say. But yeah, actually I didn't know this, but a pack of sharks is actually called a shiver of sharks. I don't know if anyone knew that.
A group of eels is a fry of eels.
Yes, that's insane. A little bit of a National Geographic factoid. Fun fact.
Unfortunately, a group of rays is not a big man. I am very sad about this.
Oh my God.
Very sad about this indeed.
Yeah, I don't know what they were thinking there.
I don't know what they were thinking.
So, yeah. Again, with Shiver, fairly straightforward. Not really a lot to describe here, but basically with Shiver, the only thing you have to do is kind of just track her as she's moving to the left. And because you deal so much DPS to her with the level 3 splatter shot, you can kind of skip her doing certain attack cycles, so it's very, very nice. You really just gotta track her and jump away from her attacks.
And those attacks are not very difficult to dodge because you just walk to the side. And that's about it.
Yeah, and also in the Shiver boss fight, and the Big Man boss fight, you're gonna be seeing Quit Out, and like Alpha kind of described that concept with the C-3 Quit Out and the Octavio Quit Out. It just skips some dialogue after going back to Site 1, after going back to the camp. It skips a lot of dialogue between this mysterious benefactor and Captain Cuttlefish, who is one of our bosses. So it saves about 7 or 8 seconds.
Also, who is this Shiver person? I don't think we were actually ever introduced to them.
Yeah, if you've never played Splatoon 3 online, you probably don't know who Shiver, Deep, and Fry are, but they're basically the in-game idols and musicians. They're the ones that play the music whenever you play an online match. They're also the announcers
specifically.
And Splatfest. Basically, each of them represented a team, and they also announced the news, what kind of rotations you're playing. They're kind of at the center of the Splatoon universe. Very iconic characters. Every Splatoon game has had them in some form.
Or some sort of idol. I think specifically the Squid Sisters have been in all 3.
Yes, I think they were incorporated very well in this game. I think this has a great story. Kind of a small optimization there. They opted to pick up the 100 power egg can as they were unlocking that fuzzy ooze, so they wouldn't lose any time, because if you try to get that power egg can before you did Moxie Skip, you lose like 3 seconds, or however long it took to get that can. So kind of a newer optimization.
And then coming up next is I think
Side
is
5.
Side 5, and arguably I think the hardest trick we have in this run.
Yes.
Maybe the
Done
hardest
RTA.
trick in the entire series, outside of stupid skip.
It's up there. Yeah, it's definitely in the top 5 because I mean, there's some stuff done in ILs that's not done in
Yeah, ILs.
RTA. Yeah, like PNB and such. So Site 5, very, very short. I think it's one of the shortest sites that we do in any percent. Haitex might be going for kind of a BTT strat. I saw he got it in his PB. Oh, LonTr0 is not going for it. He's going for the safer strat where you unlock the kettle and the super jump to it about, 5 seconds slower. Maybe Haitex is going to go for it. He's the... Okay, he knows the dub is on the line right now, so he's not going to go for the BTT strat.
LonTr0 doing this pretty much intended skip there.
Maybe you
but
can
then
explain the narrative behind Owen.
All right, so Owen skip. This entire blob of ooze that we see to our left, or to the runner's right, is 3,000 at power. It's the most expensive in the game, I believe. And with a will-timed squid roll, you can get into this teeny tiny patch of land and jump over and go into Site 6 early. Thanks, Haitex, for timing that perfectly.
Yeah, that was scripted, folks. Haitex is we are actually telling Haitex what to do so he can win this race.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'm actually I'm off to stop controlling it. Sorry, Ian.
Having the spotlight.
But just because LonTr0 is having a little bit of difficulty here with this does not mean he's out of this race.
Yeah,
Far
you can die
it.
in Site 6, which I have seen happen to people. Well, it's kind of hard, but...
I think that happened to Adept in our run, or in our race about a week ago.
Well, of course it happened to Adept.
Yeah, it's an Adept moment, so... Yeah. It's an Adept moment. It's...
Oh my god.
Haitex gets that, just for safety.
Site 6 overworld really has nothing to write home about. The only thing is kind of, there's a nollie that you can do in another category, which lets you get to the lower level early. And you can do kind of like a jump here to get to that top area a little bit faster. All of the Mario fans in the chat are going to love this boss fight.
Yes, more specifically our Sunshine fans.
Yeah, our Sunshine runners. It's going to be pretty cool reference coming up here.
And normally, pre 2.0.0, this is where you would do menu storage, is before this boss fight, because you can in theory do it any time, but it's best to do it right before the last moment you can get it.
Yeah, Big Man he's kind of a vibe. He's kind of a vibe.
He's a vibe. He's a vibe.
If Wide Vibe was a person or a manta ray, that'd be Big Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, so literally, I don't remember which level the manta ray is from, but this is literally the manta ray boss fight, a direct reference to that boss fight, some Super Mario Sunshine, so kind of on the nose. I kind of find it insane that Haitex has his RNGC memorized so well that
it's so insane.
He doesn't even have to. So I guess that's another mechanic of the upgrade tree that you mentioned earlier. Along with upgrading your hero shot and getting different abilities, one of the latter abilities in that upgrade tree we do in 80% is upgrade point sensors. So basically what that does is if you go into the ink, the real Big Man is it's revealed to the player.
LonTr0 memorized it as well.
That's awesome. That's good to see. And yeah, the only other way to tell is basically the Big Man clone. Yeah, the Big Man clone that has the most HP compared to the other one is actually the real one. But that's very hard to tell if the level 3 hero shot. Plus, there's so much stuff going on at once. It's very difficult to tell in general, and the phases progressively get harder. Throw specials,
harder and longer.
Yeah.
And then there was the fact that at the very beginning of this game, we used to do this with the level 2 hero shot, and no one liked this fight as a result of it.
Yeah, Big Man, we specifically, I don't know if we had an email, but we had this gif where it was like, Big Man killed your run.
I killed your run?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's in the Discord still.
Yes, I remember that era quite specifically. A lot of people just despise Big Man. I mean, he's so lovable, but man, sometimes in this boss fight can be a pain in the butt.
Yes.
So yeah, Haitex, just because he got Owen so quickly, he is in the lead a little bit. Owen again,
25 seconds.
Yes. Yeah, because the other aspect too is if you fail Owen, you have to That's why the runners unlock the excuse me, the kettle before they unlock, or they unlock the kettle before they do Owen skip. Because if you die, you respawn near the beginning of Site 5, so you have to super jump back, and it's weird.
Extremely weird. But with that, we are done with Alterna and are going to be moving on to the rocket sequence of this game. And if you thought that the rest of Alterna was broken, guess what rocket is?
Yeah, so
it's also incredibly broken.
A couple of skips you've seen in this run use the squid roll mechanic, where essentially you can move in any direction, and if you basically input a direction that is the opposite of the direction that you're going, and input the jump
90
button.
degrees. 90 degrees.
Yeah. You can do a squid roll, and that is basically really good for turning corners, getting a decent amount of momentum quickly in a tight space. It's a really neat little movement mechanic. Now, the other movement mechanic that was added into this game was Squid Surge. Now, unfortunately, you haven't seen it a ton in this run. You saw it again in C-4 to get up the rising wall a little bit quickly and hit that ledge above. Sometimes runners will use Squid Surge to mitigate bad shot RNG. So if they paint a wall and if there's a hole like in the middle of the wall, but there's ink at the top, they'll do a Squid Surge. They'll charge the jump button, which is the B button, and they'll basically go through that hole in the wall, and they won't have to drop down ink it again. So, kind of a niche thing, but this trick Nether skip was discovered by another random person named Nether.
No relation to Minecraft, unfortunately.
Yeah. He is not from the Nether, actually. He's just Nether. But yeah, basically, you can do a surge off of this little tiny wall. It's weird.
And yeah, essentially, if you go straight forward here, there's another cutscene with deep cut. But by doing Nether skip, we're able to get around that trigger and just say, no, we don't want to listen to you talk for 45 seconds.
Yeah, basically, if you balance... It's kind of like a balancing game with the analog stick. If you balance it in such a way where the game thinks that you are barely on the wall, but not too far above where you snap to the ledge and not too far below where you just fall, you can basically trick the game into charging a Squid Surge and you get that animation. You can get enough vertical height and momentum to kind of paint that ledge above you that you painted and skip a 40-second long cutscene. Like Alpha said, quite a difficult trick to nail. One of the more difficult tricks to nail at the end of this run. And really cool.
I know for me, when I was still grinding, originally pre 2.0.0, that trick was the last one I learned in the run because I just did not like it.
Yeah, I didn't understand for a while either, so I get what you mean. So, yeah, kind of a cool setup. We kind of didn't get to explain it because we were explaining another trick, but kind of a cool setup here with throwing the small fry to, again, aggro the enemies in a specific way, and then throwing them at the balloon, and it actually gets all those enemies in one pop. You don't have to wait for the balloon to respawn and then throw again. Another clever use of small fry. Such a unique mechanic in comparison to like any other Splatoon game. It's really awesome.
Totally. And the other reason we do that is for a very specific one cycle that we do here. There's this ending flutter that you see Haitex looking at right now. Global cycle, thank you very much. But essentially, we're trying to get this flutter to see us so that it stays in its charge state, which moves, I think, twice as fast as it normally does.
Yeah.
And if we keep it in its charge phase, we save a significant amount of time over if we don't get it there.
Yeah, Rocket is... Oh, sorry.
I was going to say, and the reason why we go for this global cycle is because if we get a bad timing with the flutter, then it's not going to be in a good position for it to hit this rolly thing. I think these have an actual name. I forget.
Yeah, Rolodium. Yeah, you're not a true Splatoon fan, unfortunately.
It's not Rolodium, Hydrus.
Wait, what? I thought that was called...
That's not Rolonium. Rolonium is that's the stuff that the Octo people spit out in Splatoon.
Yeah, I'm unfortunately kind of...
Ink wheels.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm the one kind of getting roasted right now.
You kind of are.
I'll have to leave the commentary here. But yeah, I think that phase is really cool because you can't use your gun. So it forces you to use a lot of creative movement options. So, this is
switch, skip.
Yeah, this is the big cojones right now. This is the biggest skip in the entire game.
And the second biggest in the series outside of World 4 skip.
Yes.
Oh, Haitex just got it.
Second try? Yeah, so...
Second try.
You want me to explain, like, the narrative?
Go right ahead. Go right ahead.
Okay, so this is switch skip. Basically, Nishino, a Japanese runner who's no longer with us in the Discord server, he posted this random clip from a Twitter user named Suzu about this glitch where you can go up a red pipe doing a squid roll in a specific angle and get enough speed to basically, like, get off and go out of bounds. Now, this wasn't too useful, but two people, Switch207 and Owen, were messing around with this glitch a couple of hours after Nishino posted it. And Switch was able to sequence break, and I guess what's kind of hard to understand is that the beginning of Phase 4, like that inaccessible area, and the end of Phase 1, they're actually loaded into the same area. So if you can get out of bounds somehow and walk across that gap, and go through some actual collision.
And the start of Phase 1.
Yeah. You can... Or, what am I saying? You can skip Phase 2,
Phase 2 intermission, and Phase 3.
Yeah.
Phase 3 is an auto-scroller. It's like a 2-3 minute long auto-scroller.
Yeah,
so when we found out we could skip that, like, everyone was incredibly happy.
Yeah, it's
and
roughly 6-minute time save.
And I believe this was switch skip was the trick that put this game sub-hour.
Sub-hour.
We had a feeling it was going to happen eventually. We did not realize it was going to be by quite as much as it ended up being.
Yeah, the runners of this game are truly dedicated and cracked. Literally 3 to 4 hours after the trick got discovered, Bundy, a OG top runner, managed to get the first sub 1 hour, and then I believe it was Haitex. LonTr0 and then Haitex.
LonTr0 I don't actually think got sub 1 with it.
Yeah.
He was just off, and then Haitex came in and got his very first world record ever for any speedrunning category.
Yeah, and that's another aspect that we didn't really tell people, is that LonTr0 has been a veteran. He's really come into his own with a lot of these top times, like recently collaborating with Splat content creators like ProChara and stuff like that. So he's been at GDQ, so he's really a poster boy for us.
Then Haitex is the new kid on the block and currently has, I believe, the 2.0 and NME world records, if I'm correct.
Yeah, definitely gives competition to LonTr0 for sure. So this is the second someone discovered an out of bounds glitch here, but no one thought it was useful. And then it was, I believe, oh man, I'm gonna go look at this game right now because I'm not gonna screw this up. This guy's a genius.
But essentially, we're able to use the Zipcaster to get onto this moving platform, which allows us to clip out of bounds. Haitex getting it there, and then we can skip to the end of this phase in a fraction of the time we normally would. And I think it saves about 30 seconds, I want to say.
Yeah, 30 to 25, depending on how well you do it. Yeah, Habilin. Shoutouts to Habilin, my guy. He discovered a really big exploit on Pre 2.0, where basically, if you pause while you are in an intermission phase of Rocket, you can overflow the integer for the power egg counter and get infinite power eggs. This broke a couple of categories. Unfortunately, not a lot of people used it. It also gives you max upgrade points for some reason. I don't know why. You only have to pause in the pause screen for like 10-20 seconds, then you can get max power eggs, which is something they unfortunately patched out, when they patched out menu storage.
Are you shills, Roan?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like they haven't patched out Own Skip, they haven't patched out Moxie, but no, menu storage, not get out of here.
Multiplayer has to go.
Yeah.
But
now we are in the final intermission phase and into the penultimate cutscene of Splatoon 2. Or Splatoon 3, rather. Sorry, my bad. Where, oh no, Cuttlefish is totally dead. Cuttlefish is totally dead. Don't worry, guys, he's dead.
So I guess we kind of have to explain the Splatoon lore here. Get your lores ready in the
Your
chat.
chatter emotes out.
Yeah, get your chatting emotes.
Or your nerd emotes, whatever.
Nerd. Yeah, so basically, wow, Mr. Grizz is the villain all
It's
along.
Freddy Fazbear.
Yeah, it is. It actually is Freddy Fazbear. You know, he committed the bite of 87, but he also. Okay, I can't even laugh at the joke.
He has decided, oh, humanity's dead, and so are all the mammals. All right, I'll just bring them back myself by collecting like these golden eggs that allow me to make this fuzzy ooze that turns whatever it touches into mammals. Except I'm not going to tell the people that I'm actually doing it.
Ian is actually
yes,
Super Mario 64 16 star during the cutscene. Shouts to all the Mario runners in the content schedule. Practicing some wet drywall, perhaps. Maybe get a firstie off of this wall, perhaps.
Yo.
This is kind of meta right now because you know, a lot of Cool Cat Games content is Mario focused.
Yeah.
So
see,
yeah, you know,
this is just a stream now.
Yeah, this is awesome. Yeah, just like we said earlier, this is a super long cutscene before the start of Grizz 1 or the first half of the Grizz boss fight. Also something that, you know, if you haven't played the online, Mr. Grizz is kind of the mysterious benefacto of Salmon Run, which is the PvE mode in online. So basically, he tasks you to get golden eggs. He doesn't really tell you the reason why. It's kind of mysterious. You never really see his physical corporeal form. It's through a microphone.
So please ignore the monstrosity that is slightly rehydrated Captain Cuttlefish over on Haitex's screen.
Yeah, that looks absolutely disgusting.
Why did they think that was a good idea? And why is it just a single tear from Agent 3 that rehydrates him? What is this?
Why are his eyeballs like so big though? Like,
why are they so big?
Wow.
Oh, hi Deep Cut. I guess you guys are helping us out now.
Yeah, I don't know how they got all... I don't know how they got all the way up here, but like...
I don't know how they got all the way up here either, but they're helping us now, so... What? Oh, okay, those are the eels we fought before?
Yeah, this is,
nice.
Splatoon 3 is gonna turn basically into an anime. You know, this is literally a game made by Japanese developers. It has a lot of Japanese culture in mind. It's designed in that way. But this is just taking a cake.
Yeah, so Fry has eels, Shiver has a shark. What does Big Man give you? Headphones. My man!
My man!
Also, yeah, so you ride the shark, into space. I wish I was joking, but I'm not. You are literally riding a shark into space in this game.
Yeah, I love the dichotomy, the different mindsets of both runners. LonTr0 basically doesn't care. They just try to fill... He just tries to fill the void of this long cutscene by doing something interesting that will truly get lots of viewers. Shouts to the chatters.
Those in chat, get ready to get your plus buttons out. Oh wait, this is 2.0.0.
Oh wait. Yeah, unfortunately,
so this is where... Yeah, this is where we would use menu storage, because this is the longest phase of Escape. Or not Escape, but Octo Expansion Brain Rot. This is the longest phase of Rocket. And normally, we'd be able to skip this phase by pressing the plus button and opening up the pause menu, etc., etc. But since we're playing the mode that's patched out, we actually have to fight Grizz. Quite sad, I know.
Like what was said, you basically collect golden eggs, which is an item from PvE mode Salmon Run, to unlock ooze and deal damage. Ooh, surprise! That's one of the most lenient spots in the boss fight. That's kind of nuts. Oh, doesn't have Small Fry. Yeah, because Small Fry died. Still able to get it though. The only hard thing in this boss fight, to my knowledge, is kind of the fast cycle they need to hit in the third phase of this, or the third part of this phase.
If I remember correctly, it is actually RNG whether or not you get Killer Whale-less.
I am not entirely sure because I haven't really ran current patch too much.
Yeah, if I remember it correctly, you need to get a double ink strike first before your Grizz rolls. Oh yeah, we haven't explained him rolling. So Grizz has starting in the second phase of his part 1 of this fight. you know, after a set amount of time, he's going to roll the rocket, and essentially you just have to stay on the rocket while it's rolling.
Yeah, and if you fall, you have to start from the beginning of that part of the phase, I believe. That's where the checkpoint is.
Yeah, yeah.
There's not a lot going on right now.
Yeah, it's basically that's what's going on Haitex's screen right now, and admittedly, it's not all that difficult.
Yeah, I would say the third part of this phase is again the most difficult because you kind of have to make a cycle. Because once you get to the end of this next section coming up, it's gonna start turning, and they have to get all the eggs in time, pop it at the fuzzy ooze, and get over in time. It's all it's a bit precise, but once you're decent at movements, it doesn't get too much harder.
No. The other thing right now is that I think we have about a 30-second time gap between our two runners right now, so I would not be surprised if Haitex ends up taking this.
Yeah, I don't... It's very difficult to choke Grizz 2, unless you're... Well, actually, has Adept choked Grizz 2? I'm not too sure.
Have we had an Adept moment in... I think we have had an Adept moment in Splatoon 3.
What's the iceberg here? We need some iceberg lore. I know Pika's making that iceberg lore.
Yeah. Do I need to explain Adept moments?
You can.
Adept moment stems from the runner Adept. They died in the final boss of Octo Expansion, which was a over 3-minute time loss, I think.
Yeah, dying in that is a true.
And it cost them a PB.
Yeah, it's not a W Riz. It's kind of
No, it's just bad.
Yeah.
It's just bad because, especially also with dying on the final boss in Octo Expansion, you get a decently long cutscene, and it's actually the same case here in Splatoon 3. I think this one's even longer than Octo Expansion's.
Yeah, it's quite unfortunate you choke that.
But I think
hasn't seen a lot of developments. The only thing that people have kind of learned is the lines that you take with each weak spot, like getting each weak spot and sucking it up. And there's also this technique that a Japanese runner, Taro, discovered, where basically if you do this movement in a specific way during that first part of the next phase, you can, if you do it fast enough, you can skip the huge fryer stash in the second part, amounting to about a 6-second time save, although it is very difficult. Definitely one of the newer strats in this category.
I can't swear to it. Haitex might be on world record pace right now.
Really? I mean, I don't know.
I'd have to check. Let me check.
Yeah, I mean, you
I'm gonna
can
check quickly.
Is he on world record pace?
He might be. Hold on. I'm checking this quickly.
Still, even if it's not a world record, still a great showing.
An incredibly good run.
Any percent is so brutal. This really goes to show not just how talented Haitex, but also how hardworking he is as well. Because you know, I would say that, like, even with some of the new movement options and how trick-based any percent is, it's still very difficult, and being good at movement at a high level is very difficult. Oh yeah, so I guess this is another really cool moment.
Yeah.
Small Fry basically evolves. He digivolves into a giant fish. I don't think he has a canonical name. We just call him Huge Fry because it makes the most sense.
No, it's Huge Fry.
Oh, okay. I haven't played the game in so long. I forget these things.
Okay, Haitex is about 10 seconds behind world record right now.
That's insane. Like, what?
It's insane, though.
That's crazy. Yeah, unfortunately, there isn't a lot of...
There's not a lot of time set here.
Yeah, there's not a lot of... I mean, there is some variance of how the enemies move around and such. But still, pretty insane. And also from Ian, how far was Ian behind?
I think about 30 seconds. I could be wrong on that. 30, yeah.
The lead was also traded a couple times. So yeah, kind of transitioning to phase 2 here. Return of the Mammalians.
Hey, roll credits. Anyways.
Yeah, roll credits.
That's it. That's
also a really banger song here.
your song.
Final boss.
Oh, yeah, Incantation Lord.
Yeah. You know, ask a Splatoon speedrunner that knows the names of the songs that they that they listen to while they speedrun. So yeah, basically we're on this giant robot with Octavia. We're teaming up, and we have to suck off the ooze from Mr. Grizz.
We have a space kaiju fight going on right now. That's what we have going on right now.
Space kaiju. Wow, that's an insanely fast phase
God,
one here. First weak spot. Might get the huge fry dash skip here, potentially.
Maybe.
If he has good positioning
Super
as well.
tight lines. Not quite, but...
Oh, yeah, it's close though. Hey, it's close. It's
close. It's very close. Also, should probably mention, time is going to be coming up when the,
ZR keeps shooting, text box disappears. Yeah, because you basically fire your stuff that I think it's like the stuff that you sucked up, you fire it back at Mr. Grizz, and then the boss fight ends.
Yeah. So I'll probably go ahead and call that out when we are getting close.
Yes. Such a... this is definitely not anti... Oh, kind of zooming in there.
He's zooming in.
I kind of like the fourth wall break there from Ian. Definitely self-aware of...
Yeah, I don't think this is going to be world record from Haitex, unfortunately, but it is going to be...
Yeah, so Haitex's PB is the record right now for 2.0 plus 57-17. Oh wow, very fast. Well, that was actually kind of slow too. That's that last guy, but
this is going to be a 57-25 from Haitex.
Wow.
Or no, very close, very close. 57-33. 57-33.
Yeah, very, very close. We'll see what the time difference here is specifically at the end. But yeah, as long as Haitex does not get off the cannon,
and we're coming up. Time coming up, right
and
now.
Time.
57-33 from Haitex. That is incredible.
Absurd. That reminds me of when Fuyo PB'd in a Japanese marathon for Splatoon 1.
Yeah.
The trend continues, and also checking our attention to LonTr0 on the right here. We're going to see him finish the run as well.
It's going to be just over 58.
Solid 7-hour times. For race.
You got to see it.
On a big showcase on Cool Cat game.
And then LonTr0's coming up now.
Yeah,
man, only about 30 seconds separating them.
Absolutely absurd from both runners, especially Haitex, but...
especially Haitex. That is incredible to only be 15 seconds off of world record in a showcase run nonetheless.
Yeah, the game is still very young yet, but Haitex's consistency as well as his skill level is definitely unparalleled when it rivaled by very, very few players. I will say that. But yeah, GG. GG to both runners.
GG's all around. GG's.
That was awesome.
Yeah,
we might get a post-race interview soon, I believe. I'm not exactly sure.
I believe so.
I was 2 seconds late starting the timer, so it's a 57-34. Okay, so yeah, Haitex is going to undeafen soon. Maybe he might get a text interview, I'm not sure. Or so I might give him, but...
I think our Canadian runner is currently unmuted. LonTr0.
Oh,
how did that go for you?
The lead shifted so many times there.
Haitex is so good at this game, dude. Oh my god.
No.
I was watching bits and pieces. I saw like a bad start, like a crater mistake, and then some Site 1 stuff, and then just pulled it all the way back, like faster than world record must have been. Like,
yeah,
that's impressive.
He had first try Owen.
Yeah, I did it. If I was playing good, I probably could have gotten world record if I got first try Owen, but it was okay. Hey, I can't complain. I got second try key skip. I didn't botch things too bad. That was a good race. Good times. Seriously.
Very good. Very good.
I think Haitex is also undeafened as well. Haitex, congrats!
Congrats, Haitex. Good run. Good run.
Amazing.
You're the GG.
Thank you. GG.
My man.
My man.
GG, my man too.
Yeah, just looking at commentating a Splatoon 3 any percent race is so difficult. There's so many things to
So
explain.
much going on.
So broken, you know, you're explaining one concept and another thing is happening. Site
Mhm.
1 is a very good example of that.
Mhm.
I'm very excited to see how this category, like how much this category is pushed in the future, and maybe if something else is discovered. It's crazy how many players pushed the game so quickly and found all of these skips in the open-ended level design, kind of similar to like Super Mario Odyssey. Really led to a lot of skips being found fast. It's super awesome to see.
And LonTr0's back to playing Mario 64.
What?
Nothing. I'm just stating the obvious here.
Yeah, it's not like you're hiding it.
It's not like you're. But yeah, any other comments, LonTr0, on how the race went aside from, you know, how you did?
No, I'm super happy with that. I'm glad it was just a close, tight race the whole time, because Splatoon 3 any percent is the thing where you can just lose multiple minutes and there's nothing you can do. So I'm glad we were both like actually playing very hot there. So
Yeah,
that's fun.
Great showcase for the show, or great showcase for the community as a whole.
No
Yes.
kidding.
Yeah, I definitely, like Ian said, you can lose multiple minutes of certain tricks, and I think it's a very healthy balance, being trick-based, but also heavily movement-based as well. I think having it being balanced too much in one direction can maybe be like, maybe a bit too unappealing to newer runners, but I think this is the perfect category to get into if you're new to Splatoon speedrunning, or if you just like spectating, which a lot of you did today. You know, maybe you've never seen a Splatoon speedrun before. That's really awesome.
Yeah.
Actually, one thing to point out about like what we did, because we're like world record level players, we both go for key skip. If you actually watch our streams, we do not get first and second try key skip frequently, okay? Like that doesn't happen. It was really lucky that we got that here.
Yeah, that is, like, they make it look easy, but that's because they have hundreds of hours in this game. That is not an easy trick in the slightest. That is so incredibly precise. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, did Haitex first try everything? Like, I had no chance.
Haitex actually posted a comment here in the text chat. He said, I was very nervous at the beginning. I made a lot of mistakes that I normally wouldn't have made in like a, you know, just a PB attempts. As the race progressed, I gradually became less and less nervous. I'm happy to show my best race, you know, to this community. I am glad to be able to run with LonTr0 here today on twitch.tv/CoolCatGaming. And I completely agree with Haitex here. I am glad to be commentating with Alpha Omega here and giving a voice to the madness that is Splatoon 3 any percent. Quite the privilege.
Yeah, and incredible performance from both our runners tonight. Actually tomorrow in the morning for Haitex. It's just after just before 1 p.m. over there right now.
Yeah, Haitex is Japanese. So I mean, yeah, we had to it's almost midnight for me. We had to sacrifice time zones a little bit to give you this insane gaming that occurred tonight.
Yeah, that's, I think, all I've got. Come join the Splatoon Speedrun Discord. It's on our speedrun.com page, I believe. Always welcome, always willing to help new people out. Super supportive community. Come give us some love, or come.
Yeah, lots of different resources as well to get into the game. Before we sign off, they did this in GDQ, but does anyone have any closing shoutouts that they want to make? You know, who do you want to thank, maybe?
I'll let LonTr0 go ahead and start us off.
Anyone at all?
Who do I even say? When it comes to just Splatoon 3 stuff, I'm glad to have another like top level competitor. Because like some 80% don't have that. You're a real one, Haitex. Thank you. Shoutouts to the bro. You know?
Yeah. Shoutouts to, you know, Hydrus for letting me come on and give a commentated run. First time I've done this, so hope I did well. And yeah, just to the entire Splatoon speedrunning community as a whole. Like, honestly, if we didn't have some of the people we have there's no way that we could break this game like we have now. I think really the second closest thing we have to this run right now is Splatoon 1, and even then, that was only broken like what 5 years after it came out, as opposed to months. So yeah, just the entire community as a whole, it's a great community to be in. And also, if full game runs aren't quite your thing, we have a whole load of aisles that just individual levels. So if that interests you, come give
There's
those a look.
so many levels. There's too many levels. Plus, because of Game Champ, like we mentioned, we have shotless ILs, which is kind of like a
Mhm.
new thing. We've never really had challenge runs as ILs. We have those on the extensions board
Mhm.
as well. I guess the only thing that I have to thank is thank you for everyone for coming together today. Thank you to Sook SJ. I don't know if he's in the chat right now. I don't know if it's like a good time, but thank you for bringing this offer to my attention, and thank you to Harl SJ as well for letting us work all together and make a wonderful showing today. And I hope we get to see maybe some more Splatoon content in the future. But yeah, follow LonTr0 on Twitch, follow Haitex is on Twitch. You know what their Twitches are because they probably talked in the chat. But
Yep.
yeah, thanks everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching
Thanks a ton.
today.
Yeah, and thanks to Cool Cat Gang for giving us this opportunity to come show off this awesome game.
Very much so.